Hey everyone, welcome back. It's been so long since I've updated. I feel really bad, but I am here now, and I definitely wanted to get back and talk about an update, I guess, and also talk about NSVs. So that's been a while. It's been 4.5 months, so I think it's a good time to talk about more NSVs that since I've lost a substantial amount of weight, there's got to be some changes in your life, right? When you lose close to 80 pounds, which I am at. So again, I started at surgery day, 407 pounds. As of a couple days ago, maybe 3 or 4 days ago, I weighed in at, oh my goodness, 330, I believe. Yeah, 330. So that was a while ago. So that was close to 80 pounds. So I think by now, I think I've hit the 80-pound mark by now, if not real pretty soon. I'm actually filming in Dublin, Ireland right now, which is crazy. That's why the background looks so different. I'm here for work. It was kind of last minute, and I figured now's a good time to update since I have some downtime for once. Work has been really crazy, so I haven't been able to do updates and also do other things I should be doing, like exercising. But anyway, quick update. So food-wise, going good. I haven't run across any problems. No dumping, knock on wood. Once in a while I still vomit, but that's to be expected still. But the frequency is much less. Before it was like almost every day. Now it's like maybe once or twice a week, if that. So getting food down is better. I'm still losing hair. I've probably lost like a third of my hair. I would say half is a little much, but it's getting there. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. Now, I always had thin hair to begin with. I've always had issues with hair loss over here in this region. But it's always stayed the same. It's never gotten worse. So for someone such as myself, I was kind of destined to get the hair loss. Not everyone does, but a good amount of people do. But I was, it was unavoidable for me. So you may not get it, but if you do, don't worry. It's pretty normal. At least 50% of people get it. So if it has slowed down, maybe a little bit, but I still notice a pretty good amount of hair every day. But oh well, I look good. So I make it work. And I also wear a hat sometimes if I'm too lazy. Things like that, so whatever. Let's see. So NSVs. So let's talk about, I think it was great that I waited on this because I was on a plane, of course, to get to Dublin. And it was a 6.5 hour plane ride. Flight, actually, plane ride. Flight. So it was definitely an interesting experience compared to when I used to fly. So, in the past I would maybe try to avoid flying or like, not avoid, but it would deter me. I don't want to be uncomfortable and I don't want to be that person who takes up the next person's next to me, the space on their side. I just didn't want to be that person. And I think a lot of people understand that aspect to it, or they're at least concerned if they would be turned away, or if they would be forced to pay for another seat, things like that. So I just didn't want to bother with it. But here are some NSVs. So my experience before has typically been positive. So I've never been turned away. I've never been forced to get another seat. Just so you know. And my hips are huge. Oh my God, my hips are huge. And my waist, like my hip to weight ratio was ridiculous. Waist was never a problem. It's always my hips. So I took up space even when like someone my size maybe wouldn't take up as much. So naturally my body shape. I used the seatbelt extender. you know, it was difficult to maneuver in the plane. I never tried the bathroom, but I'll get into that later. I never tried it, so I can't really speak to that experience. I've never had problems going through TSA. You know, generally it hasn't been an issue, but it has been uncomfortable. Definitely look up, I would look up the different airlines, like on Seat Guru, to see what kind of seats they offer. Try to always go with something that offers a little bit more space, things like that. Typically like 18 plus inches for economy is what I would go for. So it really limited me. But that's just how, you know, I just tried to prepare on my side. So my flight this time, it was a different experience. So, you know, walking through the airport, I definitely feel more stamina. You know, airports can be pretty long depending on the terminals and such. I definitely felt more stamina there. Going through TSA again was no problem. People treated me, I would say the same. So, in general, I guess I'll go into in more general NSVs, but in general, people have been a little bit more talkative to me, I guess because I am thinner. So, so that issue, that wasn't an issue. So TSA was fine. Boarding the plane was better this time. Walking through the aisles, I was in a 3-row plane. I was in the middle aisle. So walking towards the back of the plane, in the aisles, you know, I shimmied a little bit, but I did notice my hips were not in the way as much. When I got to the seat was okay, so I still kind of spilled over to the seat next to me. Mine was like American Airlines 17-inch typical seat. You know, I spilled over a little bit, which I did expect. You could put the armrest up, but when I put them down, they did go down, but it was, of course, uncomfortable because my freaking hips. Luckily, there was no one next to me, so I can't speak to the long-term experience of sitting next to someone while, you know, like feeling jammed. So I can't speak to that. Maybe on the flight back from Dublin, but we'll see. The seatbelt extender, I still had to use it, so I was excited because I was so close to not having to need it. I was like 4 inches away from not being able, or not needing it, which sounds crazy, but it was exciting to me because I always like would try to buckle. I'm like, wow, this is nowhere near fitting. But now I was pretty close. Only like a couple, like at the most 4 inches away. I'm like, oh my God, pretty soon I won't have to use an extender, which is awesome. Tray table. In the past, tray tables would never go down all the way. My thighs are in the way, my legs are in the way. And you know, they're big. So in the past, it can never go down. Girl, I put my tray table down and it went down no problem with space. I'm sitting there just like silently screaming internally like, oh my God, this is crazy. And again, someone watching this who doesn't have this problem may be like, this is not really a big deal. It's a big deal to people who haven't enjoyed like the simple things like that, who have to worry about these things. So the tray table going down was awesome, which was super useful for this flight. Flights in the past have always been kind of brief, you know, a couple hours here and there. But this was a direct flight, 6.5 hours, so there was a couple meal services where I definitely needed to use the tray table because they serve you a lot of food. Well, not a lot, but they serve you a lot, like a meal tray. So having that go down and being able to be like a regular person in that regards was so awesome. That was definitely an NSV for me. I think that's the first one that I actively was like, other than sitting in a booth at a diner or whatever, or a restaurant, and not, you know, needing to like shimmy the table or anything. That one definitely hit me. I was like, wow, I definitely lost weight. So that was cool. Next was the bathroom. So I actually was really nervous. It took me like 10 minutes to make up my mind to try it. because I was just like, man, okay, the seat and the tray I consider a success. Well, at least the tray. But am I ready to try the bathroom? I've never been in there. I don't know. It looks like a tiny ass closet. Like, am I ready? So I was like, fuck it. I worked up the courage. I went in there and it was fine. Now it fit just right for me. I had enough room to move around, like to turn around. But that was about it, really. Like, if I dropped something on the floor, it would have been a really bad, awkward time trying to get it. But it fit just right. If I was bigger, like at my original weight, I bet you I would have had a really bad time. So going in the airline bathroom was fine, and sitting down, doing my thing, went well. I was like, wow, this is pretty sweet. But I was thinking to myself, yeah, if I was my older self, this wouldn't have been ideal. So definitely don't be scared to go in the bathroom of the airline or of the plane if you're maybe around my weight, my size. So my size right now, you know how vanity sizing is with women's clothing, at least in the States. I would say anywhere like a 22 or a 24 maybe, I think. Well, I don't know. Something like that. I'm around there. Yeah, so that gives you an idea. Let's see. What else? That was about it as far as airline NSVs. Regular NSVs, I'm not sure if I feel like I don't have many because mentally I still feel like my old self. Not in a bad way, I guess, like I still feel the same size because I'm still the same shape, just a few inches smaller. Well, not a few, I'm sure it's several, but you know, it's hard to gauge when you start so large that you know, 80 pounds. I think once you hit the 100 mark, I think you really start to maybe be like, okay, I really did a thing. That's what I'm assuming. I don't know. People are different. But for me, I feel like the same self, just a different, because I'm still the same shape. It's not like, oh, wow, a huge chunk of my arm's missing, or wow, my legs are really different. No, it's just everything lost weight on my body in proportion, or rather like, one body limb didn't lose compared to the others. Like I lost everywhere, just all evenly. So that's why I feel like, I still feel the same. But I definitely notice in the clothing. The clothing is what wakes me up every day. Like, oh shit, yeah, I definitely lost a lot. So another NSV is clothing. I got rid of 6 bags, trash bags full of clothing. I donated 5 bags and sold 1 bag. Yeah, I mean, that's been a big NSV. Another NSV, as I mentioned, people talking to me a little bit more. And I don't mean friends and family. You know, they're always excited when they see me, like, what? Oh my God, you look great. And they're always very supportive. So I haven't noticed anyone coming out of the woodwork, like, who used to, like, not talk to me as much and now does. I haven't noticed that yet. Maybe on like in the office realm, like this one girl who would never say hi to me or whatever. Like I would, you know, I met her casually once, but like in the hallway, you know, you say hi to people, right? But she would always be like, whatever. I was walking down the hallway and she was like, oh, nice hair. You know, that I was like, wow, that's a start. Like, you know, my hair is different. Yeah. But, I feel like she only said that maybe because I look different. I don't know, whatever. So we'll see how that unfolds. That'd be curious if she starts talking to me. But, you know, simple things like that, around the office, but not too much. Usually people have treated me the same, which is cool, which I really like. That's how you know someone's genuine. But again, I'm only at 80, like roughly 80 pounds lost. So we'll see when I'm like completely different in like in a year or two. Let's see. First time in Europe. So I can't speak to too much experience. But I do notice that people don't look at me weird here. I can't wait to go to Italy next year to see how big of a difference compared to here. But again, it's a different country, so I don't know. But compared to the States, I don't get like weird looks or like looks, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, which is interesting. I wonder if that's a Europe thing or if that's like a skinnier thing, but that's an observation. What other NSVs? You know, getting up, like picking something up, getting up off the floor, like if you're sitting on the floor, sitting cross-legged, things like that have improved. Yeah, again, these are very tiny things, but they were big things to me. You know, I had issues. Part of the reason why I got this surgery was because everyday tasks would be a little bit painful. You know, my back would hurt, my legs would hurt, or just in general lethargy because I carried around so much weight. So a lot of my NSVs kind of circle around that. The simple things in life, you know, being able to do laundry and not stop and be like, oh man, my back hurts. You know, it's things like that that made me like think about, I can't do this for the rest of my life because it's only going to get worse when you get older. Your bones, you know, you age and things just happen to hurt. It's just how it is. And if things are hurting now, then it's going to be insane later, and I may not have someone to help me. You know, I've been single for a while, and you never know. You know, not banking on a guy to always be there. You know what I mean? So I noticed that it's not as bad anymore. And that's important to me, to be able to do everyday things without having to think about my weight or think about my size. Chairs. Oh, great other one. So people my size, you may look at a chair, and it could be like at a restaurant, it could be outside, just chilling, or lounge chairs by the pool, things like that. And a thought comes through you like, can I fit in that chair? Or is that going to be comfortable for me? I still do that to this day. I haven't gotten past that point where I don't have to think twice about a chair. But every time I look at a chair, I go to the chair, I sit in the chair, and I fit perfect, I'm like, oh my God, internally. Like, I was with a colleague today, just at the office, and we want to have lunch outside. And they had small bistro chairs. And for once, I wasn't like, I'm not going to fit in that chair. I didn't say that to myself. I asked myself, I think I could fit in that chair. I'm not going to. I was like, I think I can. I sat down and I fit exactly to the portion. Like 10 pounds more, I would have been like, ooh. But I fit exactly in the chair. I'm like, I'm actually not uncomfortable, and I'm not awkwardly not fitting in the chair. Holy shit. It's little things like that that get you. So chairs are a non-scale victory. Go figure. Again, little everyday things, really. Let's see. I haven't had any major NSVs, but I'm hoping to change that. I think as I get out of my comfort zone, like for instance, flying. My boss asked me a few days, a little under last week, hey, can you go to Ireland? I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah, definitely. Past me would have been like, but the plane ride, I don't know if I can even fit. But always say yes, and life starts outside of your comfort zone. Post-surgery is what I found to be highly true. It's true in life, but highly true. Say yes, and just go for it. Just try it. Yeah, so that's my motto for you guys. Yeah, I think that's everything. I'm sorry my NSVs were kind of lame. But, don't let that deter you from, your progress, thinking about doing surgery if you're at that point. Sometimes it takes some time to notice the little things. Every body is different. The way you lose your weight is very different. And yeah, I mean, the only bad thing I would say is that I'm losing my boobs. And I'm like, no, but that's to be expected. But, and then the only bad thing, of course, is the hair loss. But other than that, I feel great, which is really cool. So I'm going to, you know, it's been a couple weeks since I've exercised. So I was actually exercising pretty regularly at Planet Fitness, which I just signed up for. So that's pretty cool. But I do need to step it up and meet my goal. So my surgeon gave me this aggressive goal of 18 pounds per month. Last month, when he told me a little bit into the month, I was able to meet 14 pounds, but that was through exercise. This month, I'm like, oh shit. So I'm hoping me running around, like, doing work in Dublin, hopefully it counts for 2 weeks, but it won't. I just tell myself that. So, yeah, so we'll see how the month plays out there, whatever. But yeah, hopefully, I'll update soon enough and go from there. Thanks, guys. Take care.